If I were you and I had looked at the big paper template and thought I was proposing that size, I'd reject it too. It's huge. But the template that I'm suggesting fits in the standard priority mailbox that's called the game box. This is just a really quick video to show you my latest idea. This is a framing template that works with my 10-degree wedge. It's like a companion piece. But not only is it a companion for my 10-degree, it also works with 6 other Creative Grids tools. Take a look at the quilt behind me. The center is a star shine. It looks like it's been foundation pieced, but it's surprisingly simple. Once you make the circle, then you want to make it into a square, and that's where our new framing template comes in place. And made it into a square, put the square on point, added large triangles, and now you've got this giant quilt. I will add borders to this, and I will have a queen-size bed quilt. What I love about this, and I think your customers will love about it, is it takes something decorative and turns it into something practical. Here's a drawing of my new framing template. If you use it as is, it frames a 45-inch circle. And if you use the 10-degree wedge as is, it makes a 45-inch circle. Here's a sample from the Starshine pattern using a border print frame. Here's one framed with stripes. This one is Jettison. It's framed with the background fabric, making the circle shape disappear. The larger Erin Underwood 15-degree can also make a 45-inch circle. You'll cut 24 pieces, aligning your fabric to the 22.5-inch line. Next, you can also frame a 36-inch circle. The 10-degree and 15-degree make this size, but you can also use the 22.5 and the 30-degree shown here. The framing template also squares a 25-inch circle. Here's one from Starshine. Can you see the frame area makes great quilting space? Now the borders on this sample are self-mitering. You'll see this trick on an upcoming tutorial on YouTube. Again, all 4 of these Creative Grids rulers can make 25-inch circles. And all of them can be framed with this template. With the same tool, you can also frame 18-inch circles. You can use these, but also these 3. The smaller 10-degree, 15-degree, and 22.5 will make 18-inch circles. Turn circles into useful squares. Now let me show you how it works. This is a quilt made with the 10-degree. It uses the 30-degree line. I'll show this to you. Rather than a circle, I want to make a frame for this and turn it into a twin bed quilt. So the first thing I need to do, measure this in several places and get the diameter. And it is 45 inches. And now I'm ready to cut my frame. Here are 2 strips of fabric we'll use to make our frame. The wrong sides together, and I'm going to cut 2 at once. I placed my framing template so that it aligns with this edge, and then with my rotary cutter, I'll cut the 45. We'll save this for a second one, and now we're going to cut along the curve and the end, and then we'll take the snip off their mirror image, and that creates the corner, 1/4 of your frame. Now we'll take our scrap piece that was left over, rotate it around, place our template on here so that this aligns to the bottom edge. You see it follows along the 45, and we'll cut around it. So for the 45, we repeat this process until we have 8 of these. 4 like this and 4 mirrored. I don't have a photograph of that framed yet, but it looks great. The framing template can be very practical, but it can also be a source of creativity. Look at this prism quilt that I did with my original 10-degree squared. It was featured in Keepsake Quilting. It sold an amazing number of copies, and with it sold the pattern, the 10-degree, and a 10-degree extension for a total cost of The 10 degree has built-in extensions. It doesn't require an extra tool, except when it comes to squaring it. There are several ways you can go about doing that, but one of the ways that I've successfully squared those is using this template. When you look at all the tools that I'm telling you you can use with this new framer, the one that's hardest to envision for me was the 30 degree. So that's the one I decided to make a project to show you. Pieces that I fussy cut out of this bold fabric. I was very careful to get the same print, but the top of the tool is at varying lengths. So I just want to show you how I trim something like this. Here's one, and you can see I just let the top, I didn't worry about it. This is the 30 degree triangle. So if I place my 7-inch line here on the tip and line up the side just perfectly and cut at the top, now I have a perfect triangle. And I'll continue to do that through all my pieces. Okay, our 12 triangles are sewn together. You can see that it has slight points at the intersections. And so now what we want to do is turn this into a circle, and we have the perfect tool for it. You notice there's a little notch here, so we're going to put the center on the 25-inch and the slots lining up right with the edge of the fabric, just like that. And just cut off that little portion. Turn it and do the next one. Again, center and line up with the edges right here and here. And just slice that off and go all the way around. And you can see you're not slicing off very much. It's just a bit. Okay, now we have a circle, perfectly round, and all we had to do was just slice off a tiny bit to get what we want. And now we're ready to cut the frame. Here are our 2 frame pieces, wrong sides together, and we pull out our template, and we're first going to place it right here, which is the center line. When this is a Creative Grids tool, the dots, it'll be a white dotted line that'll match with this white dotted line, and so forth. So you can tie the two together very easily. And now we'll cut the 45. And now slide the piece down, the tool down, again to the center line. And we're going to cut on the 25-inch arc like this. Here are our 2 framing templates that we've cut with the tool. This time I'm going to sew them together to create a side. And so I'll sew that right here. But I'm going to add a border before I go any further. The length of this border is this width plus this width plus the side length. So I'll go sew that together now. Here we have our side with the border attached, and all we have to do is trim it in order to have miters. I can use that same tool for this. All I have to do is just line it up with the bottom of that and align to the edge of the green. Now I cut, turn it over, and cut again. Again, lining it up with the bottom and the side of the green, and cut. You'll make 4 of these and sew those together, and now you have a self-mitering square. Okay, I snapped a really quick photograph with no lights and it looks terrible, but you get the idea. A self-mitered frame, and I've done this with multiple frames